Morning, YouTube. Time's about 6:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Coming to you from Thunder Bay, Ontario. My little humble abode. My home. So, I decided to do this live talk because I see other YouTubers do it. They don't show the news, they don't show anything, they just see themselves yap, talking about world events and stuff. So I'm going to probably do the same because I need to try to get my subscribers up. So, good morning, YouTube. Good morning. Well, I don't know what part of the world you're at. You might even be midnight or something, but here it's early morning. So, sun came up about 7 minutes ago, 5:55 a.m. And I get up early. You see, as you get older, it seems like, well, you just seem to wake up earlier and go to bed sooner. And I guess that's what it's like to be an elder. I'm not saying I'm that old because I would never consider myself an elder. So last night, the United States of Israel attacked Iran. B-2 bombers. And I'm hearing that some U.S. Navy subs used Tomahawk missiles. I got a problem with that. They've stolen our lands, stolen our children, steal our resources. Well, they don't even got the creativity to name their weapons something other than indigenous names or whatever. Tomahawk missiles and Black Hawk helicopters, Apaches. Well, you always got to use our stuff, use our names, use our, you know. You know what? It's too early in the morning for this. I'm not going to get all negative because it's just too damn early. I try to wake up positive. I try to wake up and, well, smell the coffee. Breakfast of the champions. So last night, I helped this homeless girl. I didn't help her last night because last night I tossed her drug addict ass out. Now I saw her, was it Tuesday? That'd be 5 days ago. Just standing on the corner. I'll show you. Right across the street over there. Across from the gas station where that truck's at, yeah. I was coming home Tuesday evening. I saw this Caucasian woman standing there crying. And that gets to me. You know? Anybody crying, but more especially when a woman is crying. Does things to me. Makes me want to stop and offer some comfort. And that's what I did. I kept walking, but my gut told me to turn around. I don't know why, because I'm regretting that gut feeling. Don't always listen to it. So, she was cold because it had rained all day, all night, Monday, Tuesday, and it was just terrible. And if you're homeless living in a tent, that's brutal. And I don't wish it on anyone because I've been there myself. So, I took her in. Gave her some food to eat. Smoked my cigarettes. I smoke cannabis. Huh? Yeah, I smoke my cannabis. And I smoked all that with her too. Fed her, smoked her, cigarettes. And then all of a sudden it became a home takeover. And it got to the point where she's running in and out all hours of the night. And I'm like, hello, you're going to get me kicked out of here. I offered you some salvation. I offered you a little bit of sanctuary. And then it became a home takeover. So I had to do the unthinkable and ask her to leave last night at 1:30 in the morning. Now, I didn't want to do that. But when someone comes into your home, starts telling you how to live, starts yelling and screaming at 1:30 in the morning, I got neighbors. So I had to tell her to leave. And as she's leaving, she's got an important family. Yeah, they throw her on the street. She's homeless and that, but she has important family. I know her family is city councilors and stuff like that. So as she left, she's like, I'm going to get people to fuck you up. Me? You talking to me? Good. You better send an army. Because I like to fight. In the past, in my younger days, carloads of white kids would stop and try and attack me on the streets. A lone native. And you know what? That carload would end up either getting back in their car and driving away in fear, or they'd run away and I'd have their car because they would be too scared to come back and get it. I'm an old man now. Consider myself anyway. I don't like to fight. I did before. And now as I'm older, I don't got the time to go 10 rounds. I don't got the time to do anything but try and help people. And this is not the first time I've gone out of my way to help people on the streets. And it hurts me when I have to send them away. You see, because helping people helps me as a human being. And being Indigenous in Canada is not an easy task. It's racist. You know, they go around saying that, we love you natives and this and that, but they don't. And I don't care. I really don't. Keep your lies to yourself. Keep your things to yourself. Because we have bigger things going on in this world where good people are needed. You know why? Because we got World War III unfolding. And it's going to be a nasty war. I keep saying that it's going to be neighbor against neighbor. And I don't really want to see that, but yet at the same time, I want my lands back. I want my ways of life back. I hate this monetary system because reality is there's never enough. There never will be enough, even though it's our lands and our resources that they're raping the shit out of. There's still not enough for us. Good morning, Combin Ing. Sorry, I hope I pronounced your name right. No, I'm actually Indigenous. I am Ojibwe, the Ojibwe tribe. Yeah, and we struggle. I mean, all Indigenous people, doesn't matter what part of the world you're from, we all struggle with the same. I don't like to use race. The same, because race is, it's just, the name race is racist itself. So I'll call them the Caucasian tribe. You know, you got Israel doing shit to the Middle East. You got the United States that did all kinds of crap to us here in North America. Now they're overseas trying to start wars over there. And there's always the same tribe of people that's causing world tensions. And the girl that was here last night, she was of the Caucasian tribe. Came to take over my home after I offered her the help. And then she threatens me as she leaves. Can you imagine that? I spent my years on the streets too. I spent many, many years on the streets of Toronto. 40 plus years. Off and on. Not 40 straight years, but 40 plus years off and on the streets of Toronto. And when people would take me in, I would be grateful. I would acknowledge the kindness they do for me. I wouldn't make a mess. I wouldn't tell them how to live. I wouldn't tell them what to do or how to do it. Because that's called gratitude, not attitude. And it seems that certain tribe of people on this planet, they got a bad attitude. And we have this privilege and right to go and take without consequence. Well, there is consequence. At least, so world leaders say. China, Russia, Pakistan, they're all saying that, oh, what you did was wrong and stuff. Yes, I know, I look Asian. That's one thing about us indigenous people. We got the high cheekbones. And I guess it just comes with all indigenous people. I know a lot of African people too that have high cheekbones. The real Africans. Not these North American types. Anyways, thank you very much. If I was your president, I would treat you much better. I would definitely put free education. I would put free healthcare. Because you know who used to do that, or who was planning on doing that and they killed him for it? Muammar Gaddafi. Again, it seems like when people of indigenous culture, people that are self-sufficient, I guess, that certain tribe of people doesn't like it. They want them under their control, under their thumb, you know. You're from Canada. Awesome. Awesome. This is a great country. Geographically, spiritually. We just got some things we got to work out with some of our occupiers. I don't like to call them immigrants. I don't like that. I don't even like that word. What I believe is the land is all of ours. It's not just mine, and it's not definitely the occupiers. Our job is to take care of the lands for the young people, so that the young people have water to drink, so they got land to live on. And all these people that go around, oh, I bought the land. And as you see in my previous video, thank you. I appreciate that. It's, you know, I want to agree with you, but I can't take it with me. So it's not really mine. I'm just the janitor of the planet, taking care of it so the young people have a place to live. And what's mine is my spirituality, the way I live. That's what's mine. My current actions, how I treat people, that's mine. I'm only responsible for my actions, how I treat people, etc. But when it comes to the land, I never ever stake ownership, because it's not mine. I share it with everyone I possibly can, providing you're there to respect it. Bill 5. Bill 5. Now, here we come. We're going to talk about some respect of the lands. I'm from the Eagle Clan, the Anishinaabe of Treaty 3. I'm from the Eagle Clan. Therefore, my spirituality just comes naturally. Whether I want to deny it, whether I just want to ignore it, it doesn't matter. My spirituality comes to me in waves that I can't control. So recently, I've started to become more spiritual. That's why I'm up so early these days. I guess that's the way of the old people. You get up, you appreciate your day with the sunrise, enjoy your coffee, you have some fruit. And, well, for me, after I do my morning ceremony, I like to do it pure. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. They don't share the same mindset. And that's why society that they claim they control, they run, is so messed up. And I sometimes speak to my non-native brothers and sisters of the lands, and I say, well, if you're in control of society, why is it so fucked up? Why is there so much homelessness? Why is there so much drug addiction? And here in Thunder Bay, they're wiping us out. They're doing it openly, right in front of everybody's faces. It's the fentanyl crisis and the homelessness. They go hand in hand. I've lost all of my friends to fentanyl, or that health crisis that just passed. You know, that thing where they tried to make us do things we didn't want to do. I never got that medical procedure. Everybody needs to deserve, my friend. Everybody does. Not just us, you too. And what I try to tell my non-native people, whether it's African, Caucasian, or wherever you may be from, you need to research your ancient your ancient cultures. I've done a little bit of research about the Caucasian people, and like us, they're a tribe. And based on what I've discovered, and I'm open for discussion on this anytime, is the oh, I just had it there. It's a tribe. It's a tribe of people. She was famous. She was oh man, it's just so early. I can't think right now. Not enough coffee. The breakfast of the champions. But they lost their way. Yeah, yeah. It is. It's looking very. I have a hard time. On our First Nations reserves, Fort William First Nations here in Thunder Bay, the East Indians are moving in to First Nations territory. They set up a great big fancy gas bar, the only one there with the corporate sign and the corporate gas pumps and the great big shiny building and the corporate signs. But all the other First Nations gas bars are just little ramshackle shacks with a homemade sign and an old gas pump. But no, not the East Indian one. See, I didn't even know it was East Indian because people were telling me, go to that new gas station on the res. They sell cigarettes cheap and all this. It's a big shiny store. Well, I'm loyal. I'm a very loyal person. The gas bar I go to on the Fort William First Nations, Chapman's Gas Bar. Small, family run. And my mother knew the owners before they passed on. And I was having a conversation with the people that owned the gas bar, and they were very upset at that new gas station. And that's when I found out it was owned by East Indians on First Nations land. All the other gas bars, they're upset because they're getting overpowered by this big fancy corporate East Indian gas bar. It's how did they get there? We have to start questioning our leadership, even us First Nations people. You see, a lot of our chiefs and councils are very corrupted. They'll do anything for $1, while holding their people saying, "Hey, I love you all. This is for your benefit." Well, no, it's not, because those East Indian people are going to keep moving in, keep moving in. Hell, they're even saying that. They're even saying that they're the Indians. We're not. See, they're even stealing our label of indigenous people. They're calling themselves Indians. We're not Indians. And I'm fine with that. But don't be ignorant and say we're taking this from you when everything else has been taken from us. So getting back onto this World War scene. Anishinabek. Yes, that's what I am. I show you. See, I'm in Thunder Bay right now. But that's where I'm from. Fort Frances, Treaty 3. And like he said, we are Anishinaabe. My mother went through that residential school. And for a long time, I was a very angry person because of the stories of what they'd done to my mother. And I still have missing relatives that they never found. London, Ontario. That's a great place. I've been there before. I've been there a couple of times. I had to get eye surgery done. My left eye got stabbed by a white guy. Jealous white guy during high school. I was like maybe 15 years old. And this girl was interested in me. I couldn't help it. So during school one day in high school, I was at my locker and all of a sudden, you know those little things with the needle and you put the pencil and you draw circles with? Well, he took that and stuck it in my eyeball. Over a girl who had no interest in him. So I had to go down to London. I had my eye surgery. They kept my eye. See, it's still there, but when you look real close, you can see the scar right on the brown thing. I don't know my medical terminology, but they saved it. They saved my eye. I thought I was going to lose it, but I don't got full vision, and I'm just thankful I got my eyeball still. So getting back to this residential school. This is a book I recommend anybody to please read this. This will help you understand what my mother and my ancestors went to. This man, Joe Medicine, he was at the same residential school as my mother. So the stories match. This book has helped me begin my path of healing, forgiveness. I wear it because I just have nothing else to wear, one thing. But I do it because it's a symbol of what I smoke to remain sane, if that makes sense. Cannabis keeps me on a leash because if I walk around completely sober in this racist town, it's only a matter of time before my feet start flying and fists start connecting. It's a very racist town. So that's why I smoke the marijuana. Maybe perhaps if I was living in a place where we were accepted and treated equally, I probably wouldn't smoke or drink anything because I wouldn't need to. I'd be happy. I'd be content. But living in this brutally racist town, I'm sorry, but addictions are the only thing that seem to keep me going. But at least it's cannabis. At least it's not the hard drugs. It's not alcohol. I will never drink alcohol. First off, I can't because of my stomach condition. I'm a dying man. I got stomach cancer. People laugh at that. They laugh at that because I've outlived the prognosis. You know why I outlived the prognosis? Because I found the real cure for cancer. There is a fucking cure. And it's not the pharmaceuticals. And it's not the radiation or everything they try to convince you with. because radiation is cancer. All they do when they take you in for cancer is they kill the tumor. And that's why they always say you're in remission, because they know the cancer is going to come back. Remission. Remission. The mission to kill you. Frankincense oil. In 2016 is when I became sick. I went down to Toronto, had stomach surgery, but I was homeless and it was cold. You know what those evil doctors did after they butchered my stomach? They wanted to throw me out in the cold. Now, the shivering from the cold would have killed me, because the stitches on the inside, you know, when you shiver, your stomach tends to, yeah. So think about freshly operated on, gutted like a fish, stitched up and then tossed back onto the streets. There was a nurse at that hospital. And she took me in because she understood that I was going to die. Complete stranger. So this is why I can't, I have a hard time being angry at that certain tribe of people, because there is a lot of good Caucasian, good white people, whatever you want to call them, that do understand. Once they learn the truth, a lot of people change just with truth. I can tell you many stories of how I've sat with skinheads. Yeah, skinheads, the shiny cue ball type with the leather jackets and stuff. And I've done it because I want to see if they can change, just by a simple conversation. And you know what happens? The majority of them change, because they don't know the truth. They go by the colonial teachings that, oh, we treated them good and they turned on us. No, that's not the truth. Yes, Tupac, long live wherever you may be. He's probably smiling down on us saying, speak it, brother. Speak it loud and proud. And I only speak the truth. Whatever I cannot back up with fact, I just don't say it, because I don't want to ridicule myself or discredit myself. So everything I speak about can be proven. Like the good coffee I drink. And I just got munched on by a mosquito. First mosquito bite of 2025. You saw it here live. Yes, you know, and I did not mean that in any disrespect, my friend. I actually have a lot of bald friends too. And I know they're not skinheads or racist. It's just because it's getting old and you lose your hair. Or some people just want the look. And I'm great with that. I don't, look at me. I'm a long-haired, a long-haired hippie wearing cannabis all over the place. So who am I to talk, right? I'm just an angry, long-haired, pot-smoking native. So to each their own. Everybody has a choice to be what they are. However, it's what you do to other people. If you want to have a hateful, racist attitude, that's your decision. But keep it in your own house, keep it in your own properties, keep it wherever. Don't bring it out into the world, because you make the world a more horrible place. And see, what I tell racist white people is, yes, it is. It's actually the Thunderbird. But a lot of our flags are the same, because you understand that world culture is the same. You look at all the stories, you know, from your Bible to our indigenous teachings, the Africans. I had many, many great conversations with my African friend in Toronto. He's from the Elephant Clan of the Zulu tribe. And him and I have wicked conversations. And when we talk, we come to the conclusion that all cultures on the earth are connected. There's just the names of the gods or the conquerors. All those names are just changed around, but we're literally living the same storylines. Nah, that mosquito got me good. First mosquito bite of 2025. So, World War III. Now, here's another thing I got to correct people, because it's not actually World War III. It's World War V. Because you have to understand the Crusaders. That was a world war. When people came to North America, that was a world war. Because it wasn't just the French, the British, and the Spanish. The East Indians were here also. The East Indian Trading Company. So was the Asians, the Orients. Everybody seemed to arrive here at the same time. Now, the only reason why you hear of the mainstream teachings that Christopher Columbus and who's the one here, Sir Thomas Drake or whatever. Yeah. The eagle and the thunderbird. Eagles are the highest known flying creature. The eagle is regarded to as the one that can speak to the gods because they can fly so high. They get connected with the higher realms, the watchers, if you will. That's why the eagle is regarded as a sacred bird. Thunderbirds, on the other hand, people say they don't exist. You're wrong. They do. They're very rare. They fly much higher than the eagle. But they're real. Man just doesn't want to admit stuff like that because it's not. Yeah, thank you. I love it. Sir Francis Drake was another barbarian sent to conquer people like us, regardless if it was North America, South America. And that was quite the time in history. When you had Columbus and Drake and quite a number of explorers at the time. They discovered us. We had towns and cities. Yes, we did. They want to say that we were primitive in that. No, we actually had towns and cities. We had travel networks, the rivers and the lakes, and there's evidence now where we were doing trade with other cultures around the world. So how did they discover us, who were already a civilized nation? But we weren't into wars and stuff. We were just into peacefully getting along, which is why we were trading with other nations. Yes, you're right, my friend. Poland has never colonized anyone. They've been victimized. And I'm open to all interpretations of history, whether it's from people that have lived it or whether it's from people that research it. And all I ask is that people know their stuff. I'm just closing my windows here because I'm getting chewed alive. There's a lot of mosquitoes coming in here. Okay. Colonization, if it's done according to what they write and they sign all these agreements, treaty agreements and whatnot, trade agreements, if everything is done properly as agreed upon, colonization can work. However, they distort it. And once they gain power, it gets to their heads. And then they get their guns and they pull the little guns out and start saying, well, you know what? I know we agreed upon this, but we're going to do this. And if you don't like it, pow, pow, pow. So that's why colonization fails, because it becomes a betrayal of trust, and a betrayal of agreements. So, if the colonizers would only honor their agreements and stop being so racist and learn how to get along, I believe it would work. I believe we would be able to peacefully coexist. But unfortunately, the monetary system we live in, people get greedy. They become selfish. Then they become warlike. Because the people of the land say, well, no, you've taken enough, stop it. And now we got Bill 5. Now, my First Nation in Treaty 3, we already have a gold mine. And it's bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars a year. And last I checked, just last spring when I was out there, the gold mine, they found another vein that they're going to be good for another 10 to 20 years. So my First Nation is doing very well. However, we're poor. Chief and council and their supporters, they all got big vehicles. They go to Vegas. They go to all these exotic places. But us band members, we don't get nothing. Nothing. Just this past winter, I was living in this motel just around the corner. And I couldn't afford it. My partner at the time, she was a drug addict, so every payday she would take off on payday, and I'd be left with the bills, paying the rent, and well, I couldn't pay the rent. So I was borrowing money just to make the payments on the rent. And after a while, I accumulated a large debt, in which I'm still paying for right now. But I don't know where I'm going with this. It's so early in the morning. The monetary system. The motel owners, they were really good people. I mean, again, like I said, colonization can work when people work together. The motel owner, they're not native. They're, I do believe, Italian. That motel has mostly native people staying in there. So he obviously has a soft spot for native people. So when I was staying there, they were watching what my non-native girlfriend was doing to me, taking out payday, burying me deeper and deeper, to the point where I just couldn't pay the rent no more. After we broke up, I was ready to leave the motel. The motel owner says, I don't want you to leave, man. Because you're a good guy. You pay your rent. You don't make noise. You don't have drug addicts coming in out of your place. So he lowered the rent for me, so I could at least stay. Well, she came back into my life again because she knew I had a great big chunk of money from my income tax a couple of years back. She knew I was getting a big chunk of money, and who shows up? Yeah. Oh, I promise I'm going to stop doing this, blah, 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 blah. Payday come, away she went. So I'd had enough. So I told the motel owner, I says, I'm going to leave. I can't do this no more. I can't pay it. I know you've even lowered your rates for me already once. I can't pay it. So what did he do? He lowered the rates again for me. That's why I have a hard time with that certain race of people, because I've met a lot of good white people. The reason why I'm sitting here right now in my home in Thunder Bay is because of a white lady in Toronto. I met her during the protest when Bill 5 started. We took over Queen's Park. That didn't go too well. That's an old story that I don't really want to get into right now, because it's pre-colonial. These are wars that our tribes are having long before the white man came here. is all I'm going to say. That's why the Queen's Park thing didn't work out for me. But this white lady, I got to know her. And you know what she did the day that things went really bad in Toronto? She bought me a bus ticket home. No payback expected. Nothing expected. And she did it because her bloodline. I will not say her name because of respect for privacy. But it seemed weird because her bloodline matches up with my great great grandfather's bloodline. You see? My great great grandfather was the last fighting war chief in North America. USA had been conquered, but we were still fighting here in Canada. Now, the Canadian Pacific Railway wanted to put their rail line through Kenora, Ontario, and that's my homeland, Treaty 3. We were still fighting the colonial forces and we were winning. So Sir John A. Macdonald, that's the white lady's ancestor. Get that. Someone from the last fighting war chief meets a white lady in Toronto who's a descendant of Sir John A. Macdonald. How coincidental is that? Go figure. I was speechless when she told me who she was. But anyway, getting back to the story. Sir John A. Macdonald sent his right-hand man up to Kenora, Ontario to negotiate with my great-great-grandfather. And they reached a deal. Darcy McGee was happy with what he agreed upon, so he went back to Ottawa. And then he was murdered. Murdered. And that's still an ongoing case in the Ottawa police files. Darcy McGee. Who murdered Darcy McGee and why? It's because he made peace with the natives. And Sir John and his handlers didn't like that. So they killed him. And then they ambushed my great-great-grandfather and other ancestors on the way to Northwest Angle, where we were going to sign all these agreements and stuff. That's why you got the X on those treaties. You see? We already had alphabet and language. There's no excuse for an X to be on these treaty signings. You know why that happened? Because they murdered my grandfather and ancestors. They ambushed them. And then they came up with that fake paperwork. Now this is where things get really, really messed up. I believe they inserted people from the East Indian Trading Company into Treaty 3 to become indigenous. This is my opinion. And based on historical fact, of which I can prove to modern day right now, I've always challenged my chief and council. Stick a needle in your arm. Let's test your DNA. They don't like that. When they hear that DNA stick a needle in my arm, they get all violent. The next thing you know, carloads of their family are at my door trying to fight me. Then I try to call the police, and who shows up? Their cousin, Officer Smith, or whoever. So, why was that done? To destroy us, to destroy our language, to destroy the culture, to destroy the unity. I believe they did regime change. That was the first regime change that the colonizers did in modern history, was to us, murdering our leaders, inserting all these foreign entities, which to this day I still challenge. I'll challenge them any day. Stick a needle in your arm and let's test your DNA and let's see where your lineage comes from. They won't. But they're the family that's been in power ever since, well, they showed up. It's become like a family business. The res. Chief and council. I call them thief and scoundrels. Oh yeah, getting back to my motel story. Yeah. Now I'm back. Now I just remember now. I asked my chief and counsel for a loan from the settlement we're supposed to be getting this month, next month, or sometime soon. We're supposed to get a large chunk of money. So I was struggling in this motel, and I called my chief and counsel, and they said, "Yeah, we'll help you. Fill out the paperwork, man. Get that paperwork into us, and we'll have money for you. Don't worry about it." So I filled out their little application form, and then I waited. Waited until it was rent was due at the motel. And then they said, "Oh no, we can't help you." After they repeatedly told me they were going to help me. That's how the motel owner gave me this place where I'm living right now. He owns these cabins as well as the motel around the corner. He saw the struggles I was going through financially, emotionally with my drug addict ex girlfriend. And financially, he knew that this man doesn't deserve the shit he's getting. But yeah, my chief and counsel turned me down, even though we got a big gold mine that's bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars a year. They couldn't even bring out $3,000 is all I asked for, which I would have paid back even. Now Bill 5 comes up. And chiefs and all their supporters, they want us warriors out there to support them. And I'm gonna answer the call, even though they never do for me. When I want them or any other natives on the streets need them, they're not there. So this Bill 5 that's coming up, or it's passed already, sorry. It's getting to the point where there's going to be trouble in Canada. And this is not something that we're doing. This is something the colonizers did. And our corrupt chiefs and councils, they're going to want us to come and stand up for them. Of course, I'm going to answer the call. Why? It's not because I respect them. It's not because I want to help them. Because I got young people in my life. I got nieces and nephews. And when I look back on my life of over oppression on our lands, I think about their future. You see, all the times on the streets I was growing up, people always say, "Don't worry about it. It'll get better. Things will work out." Well, I never did. It just got worse and worse to the point where at times I wanted to die because life becomes so hopeless. Am I going to spend the rest of my life sleeping on a park bench on a sidewalk while all the illegal occupiers rape our lands and drive around and throw shit at us and murder our children? So I got young people in my life. That's why I'm going to answer the call. I'm fighting for their future, not the chief and councils. So let me be clear. In the coming battles, when I know there's going to be battles, we all know how the colonizers are. Once they make up their mind, they enforce it with brutal force. I don't think they're going to get away with it this time. Because a lot of people like me are dying. We don't care no more. When you mess with a dying people, things get ugly. So I'll be fighting for the children's future. Because my life, I've already lived my life. 53 years old, yeah, people say you're still young and that, but at my age, after living on the streets as long as I have, the injuries that I've had to endure, I may look young with the stomach cancer and all the injuries I got. I feel like I'm 89 years old. But I'm going to answer the call because I got nothing to lose and everything to gain for the young people in my life. I want our young people to be able to go out at night with their friends and know that they're going to come home unharmed and hopefully not addicted to some kind of drugs that these people keep putting on the streets. And Thunder Bay fentanyl is the biggest killer of everyone right now. And I challenge the law enforcement all the time. You always claim you know so much. You always claim you know everything. So how come someone like me that doesn't sell drugs, doesn't participate in that, how come I can go out and do a missing and murdered investigation of my own? Because nobody's investigating that, eh? Nobody's looking into our missing children. It's a big flag, it's a corporate logo, but nobody is out there actively investigating who's killing our children. So I took it upon myself to do this. Now I have names of people that are killing our people. I have addresses, human traffickers. And you know what the Thunder Bay police say? Nothing. They think it's not a crime. They will not act. But if these same accusations were made against me, without any evidence, they would be here. And they would arrest me in force because I'm a cop fighter. This is another thing I point out to people. I fought the OPP SWAT team. I fought the Thunder Bay Police Emergency Response Team. And I'm still standing. They put me in a loony bin for many years because of my anger issue. But you know what I kept telling the psychiatrists and my lawyer? I have names. If you don't let me out of this goddamn loony bin, you either fucking let me go. When we go to court, I'm going to spew these names out in front of the judge and the crown attorneys and the lawyers and everyone else present in that room. And in front of the honorable judge, he will be forced to initiate an investigation. And that's why they had to set me free. Now, I don't know of anybody else in Canada that can claim that. You fight SWAT twice in your life and you don't go to jail for it. Names, murders, events, it's all in here. And I always told them, if you're going to try to railroad me in your kangaroo courts, rest assured, I will speak. I will name names, and you will be forced to act. So the police, when it comes to me and police, they keep their distance to a point. They just want to kill me. And they've tried many times just in this past year since I moved back to this racist town. They've been stalking me. They shot at me. I have incident numbers of them covering up a murder scene. So I'm living a very dangerous life here. I stay very public, and I'm very careful about who I interact with. Missing and murdered, being Indigenous in Canada is a dangerous thing. And if you speak truth, your own people start to turn on you. Why? Because everybody has their price. Some of our own people, our own leaders, even these organizations, these social organizations, they're all bought and paid for. And that's how they're destroying us from within. They corrupt our leaders, they corrupt people like us, and they get us to turn on us. All in the name of friendship, all in the name of unity. You have these big protests you go to, and you think we're all there for the same thing. But we're not. It ain't long when you start talking amongst the protesters and everybody at these events. It ain't long before you suddenly realize there's an agenda going on, that this is not genuine. You see, during the health crisis that just went by there, that big health scare thing, I can't say I can't say what it was because I'm going to get shut down if I do. But the big health scare that we went through, I was in Toronto. And if you look back on my videos, I was a part of the resistance. I didn't want to be. I didn't try to be. It just happened. Because people were scared out of their minds. People were dying left, right, and center from that little health procedure they forced upon people. No, we're not subject to international law. I'm sorry there, Victoria King. You're wrong. We are subject to the laws of the land. So are you, and so is everybody else. International law is another colonialization. Laws, white man laws. I don't recognize international law. I don't recognize Criminal Code of Canada. I don't recognize any of that. I live by the law of the land. You take care of it. You live peacefully. You love each other. That's the simple rules of life. That's the law of the land. So all these white man laws and their little Latin phrases and everything, I don't recognize it, and I never will. Because look who's bombing who right now. Let's talk about international law. Israel illegally attacks Iran, wiping out the poor Palestinian people who only throw rocks at them. Yes, it's my narrative. It's also my way of life. See, now by you putting comments, Victoria King, it shows me, no, I'm not homeless. I'm sitting in my home. You see? You see how people come and try to discredit you and stuff? That's okay. That's your own opinion. You can live like that if you want. You don't know me. I'm sitting here in my house and you just call me homeless. See, that's the kind of shit us Native people got to deal with. Realistically, we're not homeless. It's our lands that we meant to take care of. Not steal it and sell it. That's the Criminal Code of Canada. You see, if I go right now, go to somebody's house, stick a gun in their face, and say, hey, you got to go. I'm going to take your children too, by the way. You can go, I'm going to take your children. And I'm going to try to re-educate them and indoctrinate them in a Nazi camp called a residential school. We're going to rape and kill your fucking children and set them free after. See, a lot of people, this never happened to you. So you don't understand what people are going through. Us people. Our children don't come home. And when your children start not coming home, maybe you'll understand what it is we go through. Because after a while, you can only lose so many loved ones before you become, well, I don't know. Some people choose fentanyl to put themselves to sleep. Some people choose to go out and do vicious crimes. But I just keep going. And I don't know why sometimes. Government subsidies, Marian Hossa, whoever you are. You're a very colonial thinking person. And that's your right. Fentanyl is a white man drug, just like your government subsidies. So I'm sorry, this is not the stuff we brought here. You guys brought that here. You guys brought the disease here. Not us. We were doing fine long before everybody came and invaded our lands. So that's the ignorance of people when they show up in the comments. Fentanyl. Did you ever lose anyone to fentanyl, Victoria King? Or are you a privileged one? Your children don't not exposed to that type of life. I've lost a lot of people to fentanyl. A lot. That's why I'm very, very. Oh, really? Your children don't need you. Well, you know what? North America doesn't need you either, Marian Hossa. Bye. And get out of my freaking live stream. You fucking colonial idiot. World War III, which is actually World War V. People like that are going to be dealt with. Well, don't worry. You know, you can do your little drugs and do your little shit all you want. Because at some point, this is all going to boil over. And then you're going to have people like me coming at your door. Mark my words, I won't be alone. I'll have the Africans with me. Because they're just as angry. Well, people do drugs because they're weak-minded. You're Russian. Well, you're a dumbass too. Call me a fucking dumbass. You're a dumbass. And you know the thing is, I used to admire Russian people. Used to. But ever since this Ukraine war started, you people are just as lost as everybody else. Russians. Look at Iran last night. Did you go and help your partner, your allies? Russia? Did you? No. Just like Syria, you talk tough. Oh, don't bomb Syria. We're going to come and fuck you up. Well, guess what? You did nothing. You tucked your tail and fucking ran. Fucking drug addict. So now Iran. You got the shit bombed out of them. And you Russians are like, oh, watch out. We're going to come and bomb you. Look out. So when? When? Come on, comrade. I used to respect Russian people, but the more things go on in this world, I'm starting to see you're no better than these people around here. And your comments just proved yourself. You exposed yourself. See the ignorance of people. People just expose themselves. You don't have to do it for them. Just give them enough time and they'll do it themselves. No, you're not Mother Russia. If you were my mother, I'd puke. I don't give a shit who's watching, who's listening. Even if you're listening, Putin. You Putin me on. You're a coward just like that Donald Dump. And that Benjamin Netanyahu. So don't come on my channel and belittle me. Or you'll get back what you put out there. So anyways. Things are going to get very nasty in this time all over the planet. Because China, Russia, and Pakistan said they're going to step in on behalf of Iran. Well, last night the B-2s went in there and they went home after they bombed the shit out of them. Where the fuck were you? Oh, Russia? Where were you? What, you, China? Where were you? You were talking tough. Pakistan. You said you were going to send jet fighters in to stop this shit. Where the hell were you? Yeah. You didn't do shit. You're just going to sit around and watch another country get bombed out. Watch the people get murdered off. And all you fucking North American people think about is your drugs. And your ways of life. It's not a way of life. It's a road to death. Yes, I know you're speaking for yourselves, but when you put it on a public commentary, it's no longer for yourself. To speak for yourself, do a video like I am. It's YouTube, it's free. But when you put it on a public commentary in somebody's live stream, you're no longer speaking for yourself. You're speaking for everybody. See, when I go on public comments, I only say what I can prove, and I say it respectfully, not ignorantly. But nobody seems to appreciate kindness and truth anymore, anyways. It's all about stick a gun in your face and see who's left standing. That's the reality of colonization now. World wars are getting out of hand. And all the ignorant, arrogant people here in North America that think, oh, we're white, we're right. No one's ever going to send a missile up our ass. You better fucking hope not. Because if any missiles come flying into North America, it's because of you fucking people. Your disease, your drugs, your wars. You brought that shit to us. We're not out there invading other countries. We're not out there slaughtering fucking women and children. No, I didn't say you done fentanyl. See, you're assuming. You're a troll? Where did I say Victoria King's doing fentanyl? Can anyone answer me that? No, I never said that. So, I need a moderator. Get rid of these fucking ignorant colonizers. Because they do things like that. They show up on people's live streams to throw out accusations they can't prove. You don't fucking know me. And I never did say you smoke fentanyl. I'm talking about my friends that died of fentanyl, you ignorant fuck. Maybe you should go out there, take your loved one out, and go fucking stick a fucking glass pipe in their mouth. Puff on that fentanyl. And if they die, maybe you'll start to understand what the fuck we're going through. So don't sit there and come on my live stream and start fucking trying to belittle me. Anyways, internet seems to make me angry. I came on here just to say my little piece. And now the ignorance is coming out. So I guess it's going to be time for me to sign off. But before I do, like, share, and subscribe. Or don't. I'm not holding a gun to your head like they do to us. It's your choice. Like, share, and subscribe. Or don't. Doesn't matter to me. But I'm going to tell everyone else out there. Lead by example. The actions you take create a ripple effect. Other people might see it as inspiration. Some people might see it as where they're going wrong in their life. So when I say lead by example, don't be an idiot. Don't be out there putting stupid little words out. Because you know what the next person's going to think, especially a young person? Oh, if that adult is talking like that, I think that's right. So then the young person starts getting like that. Lead by example. When I'm around young people, I try my best to correct my attitudes. I try my best to be in my best behavior because I don't want them learning bad habits. And I don't want them growing up angry. So I try to teach them the best. But I look around all around me, and people are teaching their kids hatred. That's the problem with this world. The internet pushes hatred. Not me. I push love. Because I walk down these streets here, Toronto, wherever the hell I'm at, and I genuinely help people. Even people that don't fucking deserve it. What do? You sit on the internet, belittle people like me? Does that make you feel good? So, anywhoots, for anybody out there, get that book. Maybe then you'll start to understand the indigenous experience and why some people like me are angry. It's not your children. And when it is your children start to get murdered off, you'll know how we feel. But, unlike you, I'm not going to be ignorant. I'm not going to sit there and say, ha ha, how's it feel? How's it feel to have your children murdered? How's it feel to have your mother and daughter murdered? I'm not going to do that. Because the reality is I'll probably shed a fucking tear for you, sorry, ignorant ass. Because this book teaches forgiveness. And that's the path I'm on. Trying to forgive the ignorance of people like you. So Victoria King and the other Russian, have yourself a blessed day. And may only good things come your way. Try and live a better life. Try and live a better life. Make the world a better place. Lose your ignorance. Like, share, and subscribe. Planet Keeper Media from Thunder Bay, Ontario. Telling you like it is. I don't candy coat nothing. And maybe later today I'll post a video because I'm going to try to get to a powwow. And go and dance my little heart out. Dance for my ancestors. And dance for the children that never came home. And if somebody would be so kind enough to record me dancing, I'll post it for you. And show you how a genuine warrior dances for his people. Like, share, and subscribe. Talk to you again soon. June 22nd, 2025 from Thunder Bay, Ontario. Planet Keeper Media. Signing off.